Yes, guys, and welcome to yet another pre-match pump-up, guys. And we are here while Ben and Sim are over in Israel doing the good deed and supporting our team, showing off their Italian job T-shirts to the two men, Paratici and Antonio Conte. But I hope all you guys out there have yourself measured up for the suits as we win the iTech Cup today. That would be absolutely unbelievable. And guys, myself, Brian Daigle, and Georgie Boy, who plenty of people have seen on We Are Tottenham TV over the last year. We will be taking you all the way through to the live watch along, and then the guys in the studio will be taking you all the way through the watch along to the post-match fan show. Everyone, make sure you do smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and feel free to get your super chats in at any time with questions or talking points to myself, Daigle, or George, and we will all have a good discussion on it. But Daigle, how are you keeping, sir?
I'm over the moon, mate. I got the job that I wanted this week, so I start week after next. Thank you, brother. Thursday was 14 years of sobriety for me, so another milestone. And the football season is cheers, brother. And the football season's a week away, and Spurs are about to kick off. All I can think of is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That's where I am right now.
No, look, it's exciting times. I mean, 1 week away till we start the season against Southampton. It's definitely exciting, and I would say there's a lot of expectations going into this season, which is very good, which maybe weren't there in seasons gone by. But George, how are you keeping, my man? Good to have you on.
I'm doing very well. I'm excited about today's game. The coming back of Mourinho. So let's see how all that happens. So let's see, is he going to be on payback duty, or is it just going to be a sort of run-of-the-mill friendly? So I'm really intrigued to find out how it's all going to play out today.
Look, I'll be honest, me personally, I think it's revenge. Look, we sacked him 6 days before Cup final. It's the only club he hasn't won anything with. And Jose Mourinho, the man I know, he will definitely be bitter and petty about that. So, look, I think it's definitely going to be a revenge mission. But before we do get into it, guys, of course, we are playing, Brian, I think I have to say it correctly when I say the Sami Afor Stadium in Haifa.
Yep, correct.
And, of course, guys, the game does kick off at 7:15 p.m. this evening, and it is in the iTech Cup, so we could be about to lift our second trophy of the preseason. And what I will say is, winners always get into good habits of winning, so hopefully we could take home that trophy and get into that habit before the season starts. But Daigle, what are your thoughts heading into this game? You excited, nervous, just in case some of our star men get injured basically right before the season starts?
I'm very, very excited coming to the start of the season. It's the curtain call, as I've been saying. It's the final curtain call before the real business starts, and I think we're going to get a very, very clear indication to how Conte wants to play and who his starting lineup may be come next week. I would say, I mean, you're always nervous someone's going to get an injury. Where was I? Yes, injuries. Yeah, you always know. You always know, or get worried that someone's going to get injured. But you know what it is? I think we did a thing on Straight Out Conte where you heard Conte talking about the muscle conditioning and how getting them fit can help eliminate injuries. Well, this time this team look as shredded as anything, and yeah. I am very, very excited for this. And it's a big game, and obviously you put we had the spice of England Scotland last week, and now we have the spice of Jose Conte. It's got all the ingredients to be a good game. Yeah, and also I just want to quickly say, Wolf Mayer, congratulations on going 10 months sober. If you ever need to talk, just reach out to me on social media, mate. Always there to talk.
Well, big up, Wolf, everybody. Give a big up, Wolf, in the chat. Big up. Absolutely incredible business. And big up to you recently there, Daigle, as well. What was it, 14 years?
14 years, yeah.
Geez, you're a strong, will-powered man. I absolutely admire that.
And I support Spurs. Think about the shit we've had to go through in 14 years, and I still haven't. So.
I was only saying as well, someone on my channel was doing a stream there an hour ago. He was saying, I've been waiting for us to win a league since '62. I was like, if I get that old without winning the league, I've had a tough life. It's not right. Shouldn't be that long. But George, what are your thoughts heading into today's game, brother?
I'm just it's look any preseason, especially it's just a week before our sort of real kickoff. It's just a case of seeing how the team's going to be laid out, who's going to start, and just trying to keep it as tight as possible. Obviously, there's the added bit of spice with Mourinho and Conte to keep us all on the edge of our seats, but that's really. I'm just hoping, like I said, no real injuries, no real. I hope it isn't another Sevilla confrontation. That was a little bit too close to the edge for me. I think there could have been some real injuries in that game. So yeah, I mean, it's just I'm just intrigued how it's going to set up, who the starting lineup is going to be. Really interested to see more of Jed Spence. So I hope he starts. I do think highly of the kid, and I really do hope that he makes a bit of a statement today. So yeah, and obviously a win. We got to see we want to see the team undefeated really pre-season.
Yeah, 100%. And look, there's definitely a number of things there to touch on. You know, Brian Dagan mentioned the fitness. And again, you know, George, who we want to see in this starting lineup. And guys, the lineups will be out in about 20 minutes' time, and we'll have them for you straight away as well. But before we get into all of that, Jim Boxall Spurs Till I Die. I love the name, my man. He says, anyone nervous how well the scum done down the road and how they've done in pre-season? Great show, lads. Tottenham Till I Die. Look, what I'd say to you, Jimmy boy, is, look, for me, I know they bet Chelsea 4-0, but Chelsea are in an absolute state right now, so I wouldn't read too much into that. And yeah, they slapped Sevilla 6-0, but look, in a way, it's great because they're going to be jumped up all week. They're going to be dancing around, jumping around, singing Arsenal songs, you know, optimistic for the season. And then big bad Patrick Vieira and the Eagles are just going to unleash on them and smack them up first game of the season. So look, if it's the only bit of joy they're going to get coming into the season, let them have it. I feel sorry for them at times. That's what I will say. I feel sorry for them at times. So look, let them have this week, and then they'll be back down to reality next week. They're all or nothing is out during the week. You know, there'll probably be a few watch-alongs done for it. Good laugh at that. Look, I did watch a 1-minute clip. After 30 seconds, I fell asleep, and I had to be woken up by the girlfriend. You know, I forgot where I was. It was that boring. So look, I'm not worried, to be honest. And then they named that cheap cleaning product, Odegaard, and named him the captain today. You know, look, that guy's not a leader. He's just not a leader. No one looks at him and says, oh, he's going to lead me into battle. He walks out in the tunnel at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. He's going to quiver and cower like the rest of them did all last season. So I wouldn't worry about it. Sorry, Dagan.
I was just about to say as well. What I was about to say as well, what people are forgetting, and I didn't know till a Leicester fan told me as well. Yeah, well done. They beat them 6-0 today. That's because they're playing Leicester tomorrow. How many teams do you know that play 2 games back to back within 24 hours? So it was a mix and match team for this game. It will be a mix and match team for the next game with Leicester. And then when their season starts, they'll play the full team. People are going on about how we only got 1-1 and they beat them 6-0. That's because half their team are missing, and we'll play against Leicester. So just let the filth. Do you know what? Let the filth waffle and get their mouth out that they won 8-0 or 6-0 on a home game. Well done. Let's see what happens when the serious stuff comes, and it comes to your mental strength and your bottle. And let's see if you run or bottle it. So they can go back in their box.
I mean, I didn't see what the lineups were, to be honest. I was surprised at 6-0, I have to say. But I mean, let's face it, they are bullies when they get their foot in the door. They've got again a couple of signings there that need to make a statement. Jesus in particular, obviously, he's got the World Cup that's coming up. He needs to be making a statement, really. So I think he's going to start very, very lively this season. Whether it continues or not, let's wait and see. But you know, it is what it is. Pre-season is pre-season. Let's wait till the competitive game starts. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I think Chelsea. The more I think about it, the more Chelsea would seem to me to be in a little bit more turmoil. And I'd love to see us go there second, third game of the season, is it? To Stamford Bridge and
Chelsea second, yeah.
come away with a win. That's what I'm thinking about at the moment. The North London derbies can wait for the time being.
Yeah, and you know what? What I think we should do is just ignore them until the North London derby and make them realise how insignificant they really are. And Wolf Mauler, look, he's the Poundland Dennis Bergkamp. I call him the cheap, the cheap cleaning product. You know, you get the good stuff. Like for instance, I can only compare it to like washing up liquid, but you get the fairy, usually £2-3, and then you go for like the I don't know, whatever it's called, something cheaper, washing up liquid, and it's like 150 in Poundland. That's what Odegaard is. He's a cheap cleaning product, my man. Big up, Wolfie. So guys, sorry, I had to get it out. The customary Arsenal jibe, that has to happen. Thanks for setting me off, Jim. Really do appreciate it. It should make for a great show. But look, guys, what I do want to talk about, maybe something interesting that we can maybe touch on before we get into the lineups and stuff is, look, I feel that Antonio Conte has probably vindicated some of the choices that Jose Mourinho made, i.e. with the likes of Ndombele, Ali, Lo Celso, Harry Winks and people like that. But I do think Conte has done a lot better job man management of this whole squad and this team. Look what he's got out of Dyer and Davies, which Jose Mourinho couldn't get. So, Brian, has Antonio Conte come in here has he picked up the pieces, or is he just continuing on the job that Jose was trying to do?
Do you know what? I heard you mention this before, and I was like, that's a damn good question. And rather than thinking, shall I think of an answer in case you say it, I didn't. So what I will say with this is, when you look at it, what I do admire that Conte's done, he's just come in and said straight away, if you're not part of my plans, you're not trading with me, you've not got nothing to do with me. I am literally focusing all my time, efforts, and details and everything on the players that I will be playing. So rather than having all these excess players where he's got to try and teach them a new position or get them a new training program for their diet, for their weights and everything like that, he's like, you're not part of it. You go over here and do whatever you want. I need this team here. This is my team, and you can see I've never ever seen Eric Dyer or Harry Kane look as shredded as they do. They look like they're about to enter Mr. Goddamn Universe. I'm just waiting for them to peacock and do all those freight. That's what they're looking like right now. And that's because Conte has been able to focus solely on the players he knows he's going to use. He also said in an interview last season, I had 12 or 13 people that I could count on. Well, now I've got 16, 17, 18. And they're the ones that he is focusing his efforts on, and I think he has done a wonderful job. I don't even think he hasn't picked up the pieces. He has completely changed everything in that training room. Everything.
Yeah, he has. He's done an absolute unbelievable job. And George, I mean, what do you think of the job that Conte has done so far? And maybe what has he done differently to what Jose Mourinho has done?
So, yeah, firstly, just to pick up on your question. So, I mean, I look at it slightly differently. So I think Conte is definitely picking up pieces. But I think it's pieces since Poch left. I don't think really Jose Mourinho had enough time to deal with the whole aftermath of what had happened during that season and then Poch getting sacked. In respect of what Conte is doing now, let's face it, it's phenomenal. I mean, I certainly didn't think we were going to make Champions League. I was, quite bullish about it. I thought that it was going to take a significant capitulation from Man United and Arsenal, which ultimately it did. So, although on a serious side, I still think that Arsenal are a serious threat if they do get a bit of steel in that team. But I think just Conte is just a phenomenal manager. I think he's going to continue, hopefully, where he left off at the end of last season. It's his first pre-season. You can see his direction. You can see what he's trying to do. But he's got to be able to be backed and bring in the players that he needs. And that's been the same for each manager, really, that we've had the pleasure of having at the training ground. So if he's not backed, then ultimately it will end up fractured and in tears. At the moment, it seems that the club are backing him. So fingers crossed, we end up with a bit of silverware this season, and a solid platform to build on to have a title challenge.
Absolutely love that. And I think that's key. Look, even if we do sort of fall short this season, we're going into next summer with nowhere near as much work to do. And you can focus on them key sort of areas that will sort of give you that title challenge and get over the line. Daigle,
Yes,
next thing I wanted to ask is if you look at the window we had on Jose Mourinho, 7 signings, in that was included likes of Matt Doherty, Ceci Young, Joe Roden, Joe Hart, people like that. And you look at the 6 signings we've made under Antonio Conte. Have we maybe learned our lesson, or even kind of like maybe performed a lot better in the market this time, and maybe learned some lessons of what we didn't do under Jose, which was back him adequately, and now we're doing it with Conte?
So if we look at it, Conte was never ever going to get. Sorry, not Conte. Mourinho was never ever going to get backed ever. This was a vanity project. I've wanted him for 20 years. Look, I've got him. If you got him after 20 years, then and you would have seen very close quarters that everywhere he goes, he has the same MO where he spends millions, wins your titles, and then goes away. Well, Conte doesn't do that. Conte profiles players, and they don't have to be superstars or Galacticos, and gets them in and makes them better players. And that's what he's done now. They may not be the elite players that Mourinho gets all the goddamn time and hundreds of millions and come in, but they're players that fit his profile, fit his style of play, have what he wants in mind, and deals with it. And that's been the difference. And I think he had to listen this time, didn't he? He had to listen. Let's face it. And this isn't me going for lever. It is a fact that if this had blown up in his face, there would have been hell to pay. And thankfully, as we speak right now, I can say that I personally feel our manager and our director of football have got control of that club. And you can see it in all aspects. I'm talking about training. I'm talking about the way business is getting done before pre-season. The way everything, the whole thing has changed. And I'm back in 2 seconds because my doorbell's just gone, but I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Yeah. No worries at all. No worries at all. George, do you agree with Brian? Do you see the changes of the way we performed in the market, or even the sort of players that we're identifying to come in here than what we did under Jose?
Yeah, I kind of agree and I kind of disagree. I mean, what concerns me is Levy taking the reins with the Jed Spence deal. That really did concern me. Either he's going to hand over control for this, or he's not, and him sort of dabbling. I know he's a businessman. He enjoys the chase of the deal. He enjoys the negotiation. He will enjoy all of that. But the club is at a crossroads, and as fans, supporters, people who pay our hard-earned money on subscriptions, season tickets, everything, we need to get a trophy. And Conte is obviously an elite manager. He needs to be backed. You brought in Paratici to pull these deals together. It's got to be him. You can't, just because the guy's been your mate, decide that you're the one who's going to lead the negotiations. You can, by all means, you can advise, you can be in the background, you can assist, but taking the lead, I think, for me, just makes me nervous when it comes to Levy. I've got too many bad memories of Grealish's deal, Mane's, and it's too many to mention. But he needs to be in the position of being the chairman of the club and not someone who is directing negotiations for to bring in players.
Do you know what? Look, when I look at the Jed Spence deal, look, I could get the anxiety it brings people again, I really do. But for me, I think there was always going to be one signing, and I stated this a number of times. I just believe there was always going to be one signing that was going to be the club's or Daniel Levy's And look, for me, I think you look at most clubs around Europe, there's always one signing that they bring in for the club. But I think the most important thing that we take out of this is that they have so far backed the manager. And look, I think we've done 80% of the work. I think there's still another 20% to do. But so far, what I will say is we put ourselves in a very good position with only a couple, with about 30 odd days left to go, to kind of get that final piece over the line. And we've never been in this situation before, because usually we're sitting there towards the end of the deadline, still waiting for transfers to come in, and you're only usually getting a couple. But this time we've done it early, and hopefully with another few pieces of business left to do. Now, I do want to touch on maybe the fitness and how sharp Harry Kane is looking, because everyone knows I can't resist a bit of Big H. But we have a couple of super chats to get to first. Lionheart, 1066, big up, my man. Good to see you in the building. You've got Euros there. Are you Irish or whereabouts are you from across Europe, my man? But says, been away with work for a few months. Took my flat cap to Alaska. Keep up the good work, boys. Come on. Big up, my man. Look, I watch a load of TV programs about Alaska and all. I'm fascinated with it. Do let me know if you had a good time and what were you doing out there, if you can tell us, that is. But big up, Lionheart, my man. And hopefully you enjoyed yourself, and hopefully that flat cap is back with you now. It's absolutely essential. I brought flat caps back again, my man. So make sure you keep wearing it and help me with the big push on the flat caps. Big up, brother. Good to see you back, and it's good to have you back safe and sound as well. I hate Arsenal. Absolutely love this. And he says, I really, really hate Arsenal. Arsenal won't make top 6 in the coming season. Spurs would grab a trophy this year. Look, what I will say is, like, they're all going, they're all having these jerking circles off over Gabriel Jesus, right? And, like, look, for me, they're like, oh, well, he's better than Richarlison. It's like, okay, yeah, but you're not comparing him to Richarlison. Richarlison's our backup. You're comparing him to Harry Kane, and he's nowhere near that level, And look, for me, I wouldn't even worry about them. Like I said, they're just so insignificant right now. Like, yeah, they had a couple of signings this summer, but the signings we've made has pulled us even further away than what we were last season. Look, mark my words, Mikel Arteta will be sacked halfway during the season. They might not pull the trigger early because they've backed this guy to the living hilt, but I reckon he will end up getting sacked. Look, he's boring. He's not a leader of men. He just makes me fall asleep. And if Antonio Conte can beat Arsenal in a press conference before they even rock up to play a game, and then we whoop them in the stadium and beat them in the press again after, I mean, they're having a hope in hell of catching us. They're really insignificant, but I love the name and I love your dedication to hating Arsenal. It's absolutely fantastic. Never, ever lose that, my man. There's nothing wrong with a bit of hatred in football. Big yourself up, brother. Really appreciate the support. Everyone, you keep smashing that like button. It's free. All you got to do, look, just take your mood out on it. Whether you're angry, smash it. If you're happy, just give it a little love tap, and also that subscribe button as well. And keep feeling free to get them super chats in for myself and George. Brian must be taking in the dinner today at the door. He must be paying right now. He's been gone away that long.
I think, David, he's probably been kidnapped, is what I'm worried about.
Yeah, where's Billy? Billy was in the chat. Where's Billy? But look, Georgie, my man, you look at what that ex-Schooner Van Bronckhorst said, the Rangers manager, after the game. He's very impressed with the levels of our fitness and physicality. And you look at Harry Kane. Look, he started off last season bad. He was carrying a bit of weight, but he looks lean, mean, and ready to go. He even scored in the Sevilla game, even though it was disallowed. But he's on absolute fire. You look at Son. He looks like he could be ready for another run at the Golden Boot. How important do you think this fitness will be? And can we reach Poch levels where we were before, where we were just outrunning teams, fitter, faster, stronger? Do you think it'll pay dividends this season, the fitness levels?
Yeah, I do. I'm a great believer of it. I think that the game today, especially the Premier League, relies so much on being physically fit. On many counts, physically fit in order to compete, and secondly, in order to stave off injuries. The modern game today takes so much physically out of your body. You have to be both mentally and physically prepared for it. And the Premier League is very, very unforgiving. We all know that. So although you can go away in La Liga, and maybe 3-4 games if you're a top team, you may not really see much competition. Whereas in the Premier League, every game is a battle and every game is a potential loss. So the fitness levels need to be exceptionally high. So that's why I think we do have the right manager. If we are going to compete with the elite teams in the Premier League, so your Manchester Cities, Uniteds, Liverpools, Chelsea's, we've got to be out there. We've got to outdo them in all respects. And what we potentially lack in ability, maybe with some of our players, we've got to outdo them in that physical dexterity. And if we can get those levels up, and Conte's the man to do it, I think we can do it. I think we can be up there. I think we stand a shout this season to get third. And I'm really optimistic. But yeah, definitely, I think that the fitness levels have got to, be up there and beyond.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. It'd be nice to get back to them fitness levels, because it killed me seeing teams that are worse technically than us or getting the better of us because they're willing to outwork us, because we weren't 100% fit for most of last season. So hopefully this season it can pay dividends from game 1 all the way through to game 38. Brian, looking at Roma today, my man, we are 1 minute out from lineups, and I will get them up for everybody. But Brian, looking at Roma today, do you think they kind of, in a way, forget all the feistiness between Jose and Conte, because they absolutely hate each other, but do you think that it will actually provide a good test for Tottenham? Because at times we know Jose, they do like to sit back, play low block, protect the defence, block up the middle. And we struggled against teams that done that to us last season. So do you think it's actually be a very, very good test and a good indication of whether these signings have actually improved that sort of situation in them games?
Completely, totally, Natalie. And you got to remember, I don't know if Dybala's travelled or anything, but Roma have been making moves this summer. So obviously they won the Conference Cup, they're in the Europa, but Roma, I mean, I even remember my days when I was watching Italian football when Gaz was out there, and obviously whilst they had Totti, Roma are a huge club in Italy, a huge club, kind of a sleeping giant that haven't been there, because obviously the Juve, the Milans. When you've got Jose, you aim to win trophies and you aim to set a statement. They're going to be ready to go this summer. They're in the Europa League. They probably want to qualify for the Champions League outright in the league, not just winning the Europa. So I think this is a very, very good test. Exactly like you said, David, because of the style of football he plays, and that's where we've struggled to break them down. This is going to be a big indication to see if we've combated that.
Right. I think that Rome are the equivalent of us in Serie A. They are a huge club. Like, so I think their stadium, I think, has got a capacity of almost 70,000, if my memory serves me right. They are a very, very well supported and followed club.
You just had to see Dybala's arrival, didn't you? I mean, half of that road in Rome was
that was crazy.
That was insane.
Yeah.
Still no lineups out yet. They're late.
I'm looking as well. I can't see anything. But I think they've gone as well. Before winning the Conference League, I think there's been a long time since they last won a trophy as well. So yeah, again, on that basis, it's going to be an interesting game today as well.
It will. And guys, looking into the game today, I mean, what sort of lineup do you want to see? Should Conte, especially for the first 45 minutes, put out his best 11? And what new signings do you think get into to form that best 11, Brian?
Okay, so what I think we're going to see today, I don't know if he's going to start outright with his starting 11 for next week. I think a majority of them will be. Like you'll see a Kane, like the definites you'll see in there, I reckon. I think what I want to see, are we talking today or are we talking for next week?
No, for today's game.
For today. So I want to see. I want to see Perisic at left back. I really enjoyed like the very brief 15 minutes or whatever it was he had at Rangers. I still say that is our marquee signing of the summer. I think what he's going to bring on and off the pitch is just absolutely unrivaled at the moment. I want to see Longley. Do you know what, with Longley, I like I said, I've said before, I'm a fan of Davies and what he did last season. But we need that ball playing centre back. And just that ball that he passed to Richarlison after he'd just come on, that was an indication that this boy has got a pass in him. And I want to see more of that. I'd like to see Spence start. and I'd like to see Basuma start. I think they're the ones that you'll see. I think that may start, or the ones that I'm really looking forward to hopefully starting out of the ones that have come in.
Some people in the chat are saying Basuma benched and Kane benched. Where are you seeing the lineups? It's not up on the official Twitter page yet, and usually it's up there an hour before kickoff. But George, same question to you. Look, we don't know the lineups yet, so same question to you.
I'm hoping to see Longley. I want to see more what he's about. Perisic, obviously, again, it's when he came on, you could see that he was just a cut above the rest, and he was up for it as well. Bissouma, I know Ben wasn't too happy with his performance when he came on. Maybe that's a bit harsh, not too happy, but I think his expectations were for a little bit more with him. But considering that he'd been out with COVID, and he may have left him sort of a slight yard off the pace of the game. But I thought that he was all right. I'd rather he was rested, if I'm honest, for next week. Maybe do a cameo, 15 minutes at the end or something. Again, I'd like to see Jed Spence get some minutes in the team, just to see again if we can try and introduce him sooner rather than later. But yeah, I'm intrigued as to what he's going to do. So,
George, I'm more. Yeah, I've got the lineup for you. So with no need to be intrigued, George, I'm going to deliver it to you now, my man. So you will read, of course, in goals, captains decide. Doherty at right wing back, Romero, Dyer, and Sanchez. So Sanchez at left-sided centre back, Perisic left wing back, Højbjerg and Basuma in the middle. So no Bentancur starting, and Kulusevski, Kane, and Son up top. On the bench, then you've got Fraser Forrester, Austin, Spence, Royale, Davies, Lenglet, Session, White, Sarr, Bentancur, Lucas, Brian Hill, Messi, and Richarlison. So Brian, looking at the lineup there, do you think that could be the 11 that Conte is looking at to start the first game next week against Southampton? Of course, no Bentancur relegated to the bench, no Lenglet in there, and Doherty at right wing back, where he's trusting Emerson most of pre-season.
So I personally think that I can't see Davinson Sanchez starting the first game of the season. I just can't, especially with Davies having travelled there and maybe fit, and a long lay. I just cannot see him starting with Sanchez at left wing back. Left centre back. My bad. And you know what? I think Bentancur's had a very good pre-season, and he's probably said, you know what, take a rest. I mean, this is what I would say. I mean, take a rest. You're assured, because Højbjerg has not been the best, and I'm a huge Højbjerg fan.
Yeah,
Højbjerg has not been great at all by any stretch of the imagination during pre-season, so probably wants to give him this time to say, right, you've got to get up to spot. I think that Bentancur starts on next week. I think he's done well enough, so maybe it is to give you got to remember Basuma's a little bit behind because of COVID. So probably getting his first start is good. Kane or Son, I see coming off pretty much at half time, because you've got to remember Richarlison is banned for Southampton. So give someone a rest so Richarlison can get some minutes. Yeah, I think Sanchez doesn't start. I don't think Højbjerg starts on the starting day. And maybe not Doherty. And maybe not Doherty. I think the rest do start.
I think you're definitely spot on with Sanchez. Look, Davies is recovering from a knock, and he's actually recovered earlier than possible. So I do think maybe they're holding him back for Southampton game. Look, I want to put an end to Davinson Sanchez at left side of centre back. In fact, I want to put an end to Davinson Sanchez at Tottenham. I do not think he's good enough whatsoever. But look, Højbjerg, Basuma, very, very interesting. Maybe we'll touch on that, but we'll get George's initial thoughts and reaction to the starting lineup.
Yeah, I'm actually quite happy to see Doherty starting. There's been a lot of talk that he was going to end up getting sold, and I did feel for the guy when he was going through that real bad patch and everybody was on his back. Yeah, I think that Conte wants to keep him. I think that he is. We're looking at transitional personnel in some of these slots, and I certainly think that Conte brought the best out of him. last season. So yeah, I'm happy to see him starting again. I'm not sure Longley will start next week. I know that he had a few issues at Barcelona where his confidence really dropped, and I think potentially to throw him in on the first game of the season at our ground with the fans being at fever pitch, I think is not potentially the right thing to do. Okay, look, Sanchez has been a bit of a sort of has had a few rogue displays. Let's put it that way. And really, that first game against the Korean makeshift side concerned me. I'll be honest. But you know, whether he starts next week or not, I don't know. Debatable. I think he may still go for Sanchez next week as opposed to.
You reckon?
Sorry,
I hope not.
You reckon?
I think he may do. Yeah, I think Conte. I think Conte still thinks that there's a player in there, and he had some real good displays. I mean, last season he was okay. He had a bit of a troubled 10 minutes against in the North London derby, but after that, I think he looked pretty solid. Okay, we can argue that they got a man sent off and they weren't as cutting going forward. I think Conte
after having a Big Mac, George.
Sorry,
I could have played that game at centre back after having a Big Mac. It was so easy.
That would have been a sign. You, me, and Daigle sort of taking over at that point.
There we go.
Honestly, the three of us could have formed back line that day. It was that easy. The three of us could have. That'd be some back line, I'm telling you. That'd be an unbelievable back line. What do you think of Bissouma and Højbjerg? Do you find that as an interesting partnership today, George?
Yeah, look, when I've seen Bissouma play, he's always had that really sort of active defensive role. Whether that's going to work with Højbjerg next to him, because Højbjerg can still be a little bit of an erratic performer at times. I think he sometimes, I think, just loses track of the game a little bit. With Bissouma next to him, I don't know. I would like to see somebody a little bit more steady, like Bentancur, to be honest. Pair them both up together. I think when Bissouma's first getting introduced, it's going to be a tricky one. I think with Bissouma. I think the way that we play and what we require in that position at the moment is something that I think we don't quite have, and that's to be a little bit creative. But that will be depending on who we're playing. I don't think that's going to necessarily be as important against Southampton. I think the main thing against Southampton is trying to nullify Ward-Prowse, and once you do that, then try and frustrate them and potentially catch them on the break with the speed of the wing backs. So yeah, I would have preferred really to see Bentancur next to Bissouma as opposed to Højbjerg.
You know what I actually think this could be as well? I think this could be, obviously, Ollie Skip didn't play against Rangers because he picked up a knock. We heard last time he picked up a knock, and that ended up being him out for the season. Now he hasn't travelled to Israel. Maybe he's like, you know what? For the start of the season, I haven't got 4 midfielders to rely on. I've only got 3. So I best get them used to each other's style of play. It could be, you never know. I mean, Ollie Skip, I hope it is just a knock and he's part of that 4, because I love Ollie Skip. I honestly think he's a real talent. But again, if he's not ready for the start of the season, he needs those 3 to know each other's games. So maybe he said, you know what, this is the time I experiment with these 2.
I think Alistair Gold said that it wasn't as serious as everybody was making out the Ollie Skip thing. I hope he's right, because like you said, I mean, I think we're all just preparing ourselves for him being the next Spurs captain, aren't we? So fingers crossed he doesn't spend too long on the sidelines.
Exactly. That's the thing that we were told last time. It wasn't as bad as feared, and then it was, oh, he's having a scan, oh, he's coming back, oh no, he's out for the season. So I'm sure it's not that now. I'm not trying to say it is, but if he's picking up injuries here and there, then the other 3 players have got to know each other's games. So maybe that's why he is doing it.
I tell you what, though, look. First of all, I've had to send the missus a text and tell her to get the margaritas out there ready. Davinson Sanchez is starting, but I really, and Doherty actually, and Doherty. But what I will say is, I'm really intrigued to see how Basuma or Bamusa, a nickname after Musa Sissoko, or no, sorry, Musa Dembele, not Musa Sissoko, and Højbjerg, Pierre-Emil Brickhouse can get on, because look, we've seen Bentancur this preseason. He's ready. He's waiting for the season to start. Blown boys over in midfield, very good on the ball. But it'd be interesting to see how combative Højbjerg and Basuma be. I mean, that's not going to be a nice midfield to play up against. They're constantly going to be snapping at your heels. And what I do like about Basuma is, for me, he has that ball carrying ability that we've missed since Musa Dembele. Now, I'm not saying he's as good as Musa Dembele. He's far from as good as that guy. But the point is if we can't pass through teams, just give the ball to Bamusa and let him run through them, steamroll them. It's absolutely brilliant. And I can't wait to see that midfield. I guarantee you, them Roma boys, after 10 minutes, they will go hiding in the middle of that park. They will not go and show up for the ball. I can guarantee you now, if they're going to do what I expect them to do. Kane, Son and Kulusevski, of course, look, that's what we're going to see against Southampton, because Richarlison is out injured. But boys, but before I move on from the defence, because defence is, look, for me, probably our last issue to kind of really rectify this window. Are any of you concerned that we haven't actually kept a clean sheet this pre-season at all?
Yeah. Extremely. Like I said, the first two games, I don't really care about the score, the result, whatever. For me, the first two games are fitness, styles of play, the team going away and bonding and getting to know each other on and off the pitch. And then from Rangers onwards, it becomes serious, with this one being deadly serious. But you would have thought within those 4 games, or hopefully today will be within those 3 games, we would have kept a clean sheet. Like you were saying, I think it's highlighted the need for that commanding, like a Nemanja Vidic, like a Nemanja Vidic, like a Skriniar. As much as I want Bastoni.
Do you fear, though, Brian, we've missed out on players like that already? Because you look at the Lit, he's gone. You see us linked with Milinkovic today. Look, he's good in the air, but a lot of our targets that we probably were looking at, Bremer, someone that's really good, strong command in the air, they're gone.
Yeah, I think we need we've got. I like it when Longley and Romero finally get together, to Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Matic, because one's a ball playing, carry it out like Rio, and the other one's an absolute beast like Vidic. And I think we kind of need a hybrid of the two in that centre position. You definitely need, the one thing we do need is aerial ability. We need someone that will put his head everywhere it goes, or put his body on the line. And for me, that's going back to Skriniar. Skriniar's kind of got. Do you remember when Liverpool had that guy Skirtle that would just have his bandaged head every single week because he just put his head in the wrong position and didn't care? He just wants to defend. That's what I think we need. We need like a destroyer in the middle to just go bang, I'll put my head there. And we need a commanding one. And I'm starting to lean more towards Skriniar from Inter Milan, in all honesty. And we should have got him 3 years ago. But yeah, I think the not keeping a clean sheet is just highlighting how much we need a centre-back before the end of the window. Obviously, we'd love it now, but that's not going to happen. But with the way we've spent, it's allowed us to have a few that can drag out. You know what I mean? We've got a majority. Yeah. There's a few players. Yes, we need it. But if we need, let's say it is Skriniar or a Skriniar-esque kind of caliber player, these deals sometimes do take a bit of time. So I'm fine with kicking it down the road or dealing with it. And if it takes a little while to deal with, get it done, even if it gets close to deadline day or whatever. These kind of deals sometimes do. What I used to get pissed off with is we were relying on this deal, whereas we've done our business. We've afforded the time to say, right, there's a player we want, but we may need to put a bit of work in and a bit of graft, and this may take a bit of time. And I think with the players we brought in, we've given ourselves that time to say, right, we're going to get this done, but it's going to be a slow burner. And I think it has to be the centre-back. It has to be the centre-back.
100%. And everybody, I did meant to say Richarlison suspended. Sorry if I said injured. I didn't think I did, but some people are saying I did. So I'm sorry. I meant to say suspended because that's because he threw a flare back into the Chelsea end. Absolutely love that. And he's back for Chelsea, which would be brilliant. But sorry, George. I mean, defence, is it concerning you right now?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the defending was so poor in that game. It was concerning. the only thing that I could really put it down to was the a greater amount of emphasis being put on the attack to test things out at that point. But I think it's inexcusable, some of the defensive errors in that game. It was just really shoddy. Better with the Seville game, but again, when we were playing Rangers, the goal that we conceded again, players just really switching off, not picking their player up. To leave a striker that much room in the box is again unforgivable. And I was disappointed. Thankfully, I think Conte put an end to that. We looked quite solid in the second half against Rangers. We looked a little bit more bite to it, and I thought Cuti Romero was just magnificent in that game. But yeah, it's a bit concerning. I hope that. I know that your feelings are that we need another centre back. I'm sort of beginning to come round to that. I was more in tune with trying to get a more creative midfielder, because I do find that we sometimes lose a lot of opportunities and we run out of ideas a lot of the time. So. But yeah, I mean, having seen these 3 games, I'm with you on this. I think really we do need a more commanding centre back to be there. I don't think Dyer and Sanchez are the long-term answer.
Yeah, no, I don't either. Look, I watched after 14 minutes of Rangers, I felt like turning it off. I seen Sanchez being given the runaround by that 5-foot midget, Matondo, who's barely played for the last 2 years. And it's just not good enough. And I get Sanchez had 3 good games at the end of last season and 3 good games at the start. But let's never forget that middle patch where he was playing week in, week out because of the injuries. And he was absolutely atrocious and all over the place. And we cannot play out from the back with him. He's not good enough on the ball. Dyer, look, he's a bit of a mixed bag. He can go out there and put in a great performance, but then he can go out there the week after and just piss you off. And look, I don't know whether this new set piece coach can help them from set pieces. I'm not sure. But for me, I think we need someone that just is a pure animal, like Diego was saying, someone that just wants to go and win that ball, that actually, it gives him a hard on. Every time he wins that ball, it gives him a hard on. He wants that ball more than anybody else. And that's what we need, because too many times last season, I've seen crosses be hit into the box and other their players getting on the end of it. What did K-League 11 do? They done their homework on us, by the way. They constantly got the ball out wide, down the sides, and put it in the box. First thing Sevilla done with their free kick, the first free kick they won inside 5-10 minutes, put it in the box. And if teams are doing that to us pre-season, you can only imagine what teams that are going to have weeks and months and stuff built up on us with the technology that's in the game now. And they're just going to be shown, put the balls into this area and go and attack it. You're going to win it. So we definitely have to improve on that situation. And hopefully we do. But yeah, look, so
Dybala's starting, by the way.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good test. It's Dybala, Zaniolo, and Abraham. So it's going to be a very, very good test of that back line to see how they hold up. You're playing up against some real quality today. Quickly on Dybala, boys, you're raging. We sort of missed out there.
So I'll tell you, when we were going for him the first time, I was monitoring that deal like a hawk because I loved him. I love Dybala, and I was like, just please get this done. Get this done. This will be, and obviously it didn't. He's been very, very injury prone, hasn't he? He's been in and out and whatever. He is on his day, and when he's fit, he is a fantastic and wonderful player that would certainly be an asset to any football team, including Tottenham Hotspur. But you just don't know what his injuries are going to be like. It's one of those risks you're going to take, isn't it? Like sign a player and he's just constantly injured. I think, do you know what? He's one of these players as well that when you looked at it, he had his heart set on staying in Italy, didn't he? A lot of these players do. And then maybe if he'd come to England either the first time or this time, his heart's still in Italy. He may not. It's a completely different style of football. Completely different style of football. I think he'll do very, very well at Roma, but I'm not disappointed that we didn't get him this time. I think the time to get him would have been the time we could have. And saying that now, we've probably scored a couple of bangers against us today. And I'll be like, yeah, well. But no, do you know what? He's a wonderfully gifted player. But yeah, I just don't think he would have suited Tottenham right now.
And George,
Yeah,
you always have we missed him.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing him play, but very much like Brian, I think that boat sailed back when we went in for him really too late, and trying to sort out image rights and whatever they were trying to do, sort of the last knockings. I mean, it's the story of Tottenham Hotspur, really. I mean, it was just if we were interested in the guy, we should have, put the money where our mouths were when we had the opportunity to do so. And leaving it that long against specific. I mean, with Argentine players as well, it's just notorious. Their contracts are so complicated, and they can have part owners and different owners of image rights, and it's just really complicated. To me, I don't think the heart was in it to really buy him. I think at that point in time, we were still thinking about the bank balance and the amount of money that it was going to cost to get him in. So yeah, disappointed at from in that respect. But if Conte doesn't want him, you know what? Neither do I.
Yeah, look, I'm the same. Look, for me, we've been flirting with him for years. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's a bit like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, the way they were going on before they ended up together. Just flirting with each other. And at the end of the day, the guy's been available for quite some time. Why has none of the big wigs gone and pulled the trigger when anyone could have at any moment? And now he ends up at Roma, who won the Europa Conference League. I mean, he's took a step down as well. So, for me, I'm kind of glad we stayed away. Lewis Smith says Tottenham will bottle Champions League. I tell you what I will bottle, man, is that winning feeling this season. Something that you will not have. I'll be bottling up every single game. Dogging whether you're Chelsea, Arsenal, West Ham, I do not care. You're all the same to me, and I'll have my fun with you guys along the way this season. But look, you want to enjoy that winning feeling when your season gets tough. Feel free to come over, my man, and bask in our glory.
Yeah, I want to say one thing as well. If you're going to banter us, can you bring the comment up? Can you bring the comment up, guys? Well, I just want to point out one thing to this guy, that if you're going to banter us, do you want to learn how to spell Champions League? I don't know what a Champions League, whatever that is. So,
they play Thursday.
Of course. That's Thursday with an F.
And it's been like 10 years since they've been in it. We got to forgive them. It's been 10 years since they've been in it. They don't even know how to spell it anymore.
Yeah, it's the people. I mean, I love a bit of banter and it's all good. But when people come onto our channel or any Spurs channel and they want to banter because they've won 6-0 in a friendly, but they're playing Thursday nights in Belarus and Uzbekistan and wherever they're going, whilst we'll be at the creme de la creme, it just baffles me. It baffles me.
And look, maybe you can sing along with me, my man Lewis. Watching Tottenham on a Tuesday night. You play Thursday
because you're fucking shy.
Oh, what a feeling, what a night, you absolute mug. Oh, I love it. I love when these trolls come in from rival clubs. Absolutely love it. But look, Brian, I mean, look, what's your score prediction for today's game? I know it's only pre-season, but let's have a bit of fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game today, actually. I don't think we're keeping the clean sheet that we need. I'll be delighted if we do. I will be delighted if we keep a clean sheet. But I'm going for a 3-2. Us. 3-2 us. I think what will happen as well is I think we might go up a couple of goals early. Then it might get brought back to 2-2. And then hopefully right near the end, Harry Kane will score another wonder goal and just say, Mourinho, have some of that.
Oh, absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Georgie boy, what's your score prediction, my man?
Yeah, I'm really not sure on this one. I think I'm going to go 4-2 Tottenham.
Okay.
Only because I'm just in that sort of a mood.
I absolutely love that. And by the way, there's been a few comments about your jersey. Do you want to tell people about it? What year is it from?
Oh, this was the jersey that the away jersey that Klinsmann used to wear.
94, 95.
Yeah, I mean it was. I had the opportunity to get it back then, but could only get myself a reworked one recently. But they're really hard to get. these days as well now. The Umbro ones, anyway. You can get ones without the Umbro make on it. But it's it was one of my favourites back in the day. So yeah, thought I'd invest in it. This is my opposition. This is my opposition to Nike. I'm so fed up with them that
I'll tell you what, David. I was just telling George before we came on. I've got I had a very, very unique version of that shirt because I got that shirt and I got 8 Dumitrescu on the back of it, only for him to be sent out on loan by Jerry Francis the very next day. So I was like, thanks, Jerry. Thanks for that, mate. That's a real good one of you. And it was one of those Spurs used to charge. I think now they just charge the name and number one thing. But it used to be £3 for a single letter, £5. £3 for a single number, and £5 for a double number, and then 75p a letter. So I got Dumitrescu, which was probably the longest name we had at the time, and it was only a single letter though, so I saved £2.
I love that.
But that's a limited edition. I don't know where it is.
I love that. I love that. Joseph Kennedy, look. Stop hating and just appreciate, my man. I'm all over the place. You'll see me in nearly every Spurs channel. So instead of hating me, learn to appreciate because I'm absolutely everywhere, brother. Big yourself up, my man. Come on now, play nice, brother.
Comment I've ever seen on YouTube.
Nah, look, he's
not Irish.
Look, he's appreciator deep down. That's what he is. I know he is. But Dago, my man, where can people find you? Not that you need any introduction.
Yes, people can find me at Tottenham on Tour. We're very excited about a show we got this coming Wednesday, making their very, very first YouTube appearance and podcast. We've got the people from Spurs Song Sheets, so they are going to be on it, and we're going to be ending it. They are going to be doing a medley of songs. And they're actually going to release a brand new song that they're not even putting on Twitter yet, which will be on this. We're really looking forward to on that. There will be another video coming out called It's Happened Again. A few people know what happened. I'm not showing it, but I had to get another tattoo because I put a stupid bet on. So as a man of my word, I went and got a tattoo. And the video of that will be getting revealed this week as well. There's loads to come. Brian Island is actually moving into a studio as we speak. We have our very own Tottenham on Tour headquarters now, and it's a banging studio area. So there's going to be a lot of new stuff coming your way.
Is that going to be in the Scotland Yard, Brian?
The Scotland Yard is one of them, but obviously, also fans around the world. Very quickly, we're very proud of a show we did, and we did it with Israel Spurs last week, called Everywhere You Go, which is fans from all across the world. We're reaching out to fan clubs so they can all talk about their fan club, where you can find the pub if you're travelling. And there's a lot more of them coming in the coming weeks, so keep an eye out for that. But the Scotland Yard, the world famous Scotland Yard, I cannot wait to be there next Saturday. Cannot wait. And Rez will be out for the North London derby. So, the Scotland Yard is going to be banging again as of next week.
Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. The famous Scotland Yard. There it is, guys. Link in the chat. Just get over and smash that subscribe button. You want to know where Daigle is? You need permission to get into his man cave. That's where he'll be. Thank you very much for today, Daigle. And of course, he'll be here for every single game, or at least 99% of the games this season. Join me on these shows. So if you do like them, make sure you keep smashing that like and the subscribe button. George, anything you want to say before we let you off, my man? Any channels you want to plug or anything like that?
No, I just wanted to say thanks for having me. Really appreciate it, and hope I didn't let everybody down. So I hope it was
never.
It was as good as it's been before.
Georgie, don't put yourself down like that, my man. You've been an absolutely brilliant addition to this panel, and hopefully we will be seeing a lot more of you as well. I keep getting on them fan shows. I really love listening to you, my man. Have more confidence in yourself. Stop putting yourself down like that, brother. We have B. O'Sullivan. Look, we will speak about this next week, my man, before the Southampton game. We will definitely have that. Great question, brother. Great question. And guys, last but not least, I will say, is you can find me over at the Irish Hotspur. If you don't know about me already, well, I'm surprised because I have a really loud mouth. But if you don't, make sure you get over there, smash that subscribe button. I do a bit of everything. I do transfer updates, watch-alongs, pre-match shows, fan shows, and a load of debate shows during the week. And you will always catch Brian. You see Benji on there at times from here as well. And hopefully we'll be getting George on as well at some stage. But guys, It's been a pleasure. I'm going to hand it over to the guys for the watch along. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, smashing that like, the subscribe, and the super chats. As always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
And get ready for your second trophy this preseason. Come on.